Yesterday, we discussed the issues of the National Student Financial Aid Scheme from the view of the students. Now, students have staged protests in various parts of the country. At the heart of some of their grievances, as we heard, are the bank charges, which they say are exorbitant, allowances that sometimes do not reach their bank accounts, book allowances that are not reaching them, among others. Let's speak to Phethiwe Matutu, who's the University of South Africa's CEO. Thank you so much for your time this evening. In your view, why are the issues that the students are raising so difficult for NSFAS to resolve?
I cannot speak for NSFAS because...
But from the view of the universities?
Pardon?
From the view of the universities, from what you've gathered, what makes it so difficult for NSFAS to resolve these issues?
As I'm saying, from the view of the universities, I cannot speak for NSFAS. However, from our view as universities, we have agreed with NSFAS on how to implement some of the initiatives that they have implemented. And what we requested was a piloting of these initiatives, which did not occur as it was previously agreed. However, we're appreciative of the fact that NSFAS is quite responsive now to our needs as universities and is trying by all means to rectify whatever problems that are arising out of their ways of implementing whatever initiatives that they wanted to implement. So that for us is quite encouraging. We've met with them on the 11th of August, and we are in agreement that we need to resolve some of these issues.
And what were the reasons that, they gave yourselves for not piloting it as you had previously agreed? They would state, for instance, the direct payment, that they piloted them through the TVET colleges, but somehow in implementing them through the universities, it doesn't seem that they've managed to get to a solution, as so many students are sitting without funds in their accounts. All right. And yesterday we were speaking to students and I was asking them the questions that from their viewpoint, what do they think, are some of the difficulties when it comes to resolving some of the challenges that they are facing, particularly with NSFAS. And some of what they're saying is accusing universities of using this chaos to benefit, for their own selfish reasons, as they allude to. But I'd like us to listen to some of what was said, and I'm keen to hear your response in that regard.
There are universities that have deliberately frustrated and sabotaged the direct payment system for their own business interest, including but not limited to not submitting their registration data to NSFAS so that the students would receive their allowances, including but not limited to them ensuring that they created a platform and a space for these service providers to get onto the campus and on board with the students. So these are some of the things that the universities have done. Some institutions, by the way, we have been told by some SRCs, have even been sponsoring protests in their own campuses to create an impression of a crisis such that they can get the opportunity to pay these allowances that they've been paying. To give you an idea of what it means, it's almost over R1 billion that is being dispersed every month that used to be dispersed by this university, their officials and their friends, which obviously after the centralization thereof, they would have forfeited those returns and that business.
How do you respond to some of what you've heard?
I've heard some of the accusations which have been leveled against universities. Following that, we did carry out a survey within the universities to check exactly the reasons for them not supplying the registration data. And these are the reasons that are being put out there by universities. The first one being that the NSFAS is recently providing the data of the students that they've accepted as late as last week. So basically, the whole thing of the NSFAS beneficiaries is changing data
as time goes on, making it so difficult for universities to be responsive. If you are receiving data today and you are being asked by University of South Africa on why you have not provided registration data for these students, the response is that it's the 10th of August. We are receiving this data today. The second one that universities are stating is that they've got a whole host of registration data that has been provided to NSFAS. Despite providing that data, those students have still not been receiving funding from these direct payments. The third one is that having tried to submit data, the systems that are being utilized have not been able to accept that data for the universities. So those are broadly the three reasons. And then there are odd ones here and there where universities are saying, we are awaiting the service providers. So we're talking about the landlords, so that we can get information from them so that certain funds can get directly to those landlords rather than getting to the students, so that residence payment can be made directly to landlords. So it's been a host of reasons which have nothing to do with interest by universities to frustrate the direct payment system of NSFAS.
And Ms. Matutu, we're out of time, but I'm going to ask you very briefly then for us to look at this. I mean, when I'm listening to what you've said, the first 3 points, it points towards a system that really needs to be looked at. One can even say it's simply not working. How concerned are you? Because some of the students are going about without meal allowances. They are really in a disadvantaged situation.
We are concerned because these students, eventually, some universities have had to prepare food parcels for these students. Some universities have had to take some of the students who have been kicked out by landlords into university residences. So that level of concern is impacting on the basics for the universities, not to mention that the levels of frustrations of students have caused unrest on some of the campuses.
Dr. Matutu, it sounds like a very desperate situation that is currently unfolding there, and we'll also try to reach out to the Higher Education Department also to see what exactly is going on here. But thank you so much for your time this evening. Do appreciate it. That is Dr. Phethiwe Matutu, Universities South Africa CEO. This issue of NSFAS is really one that is quite concerning given some of the developments that we've seen over time, and we'll continue to cover it for you.